cuts in their budget for festivals and events, grants for Maritime Festival are decreasing. Last year, their budget was cut by 33%, resulting in our grant being only 64% of the previous year. And for the 2024-25 year, their budget is cut by a further 21%. We are anxiously waiting to see what our grant will be for this important community festival, with costs up for absolutely everything. Whoops. So you probably know we produce Art Rich on a biannual basis, a juried exhibition of local artists, and will be held later in 2025. In the summer of 2024, we produced an exciting new event with the help of grants from the YVR Cares Community Investment Fund and the Richmond Community Foundation, Art Rich, Youth Art Rich. And hopefully this works. Nope. IT. Click it. Yahoo. Oh, there we go. Over 320 works of art were submitted through an artist call. 111 works from 72 local youth ages 3.5 to 19 years old were chosen and exhibited in the Cultural Center over a weekend in July. 426 visitors visited the exhibition. The works were also digitized by the Youth Media Lab for an ongoing exhibition and can be found on our website. And we thank Crayola for the donation of art supplies. For Culture Days, we collaborated with School District 38 to produce Roots Unearthed, linking objects and heritage, with students from General Currie Elementary School and Cambie Secondary School. Participants shared stories inspired by meaningful objects linked to their lives and family histories. They were encouraged then to celebrate their roots and discover new ways to express themselves. Visual artist Bea Martin worked with the elementary students and spoken word poet Johnny McRae with the secondary students to produce a visual exhibition and spoken word videos that were exhibited at the Cultural Center Annex and online on RAC's YouTube channel. Songs in the Snow, produced with the Steveston Historical Society, was held 2 Saturdays in December, showcasing local performers. Steveston Historical Society received a grant from Tourism Richmond to cover the costs of performers, artists, and equipment. 1,325 people took in the shows, up 77% from 2023, despite being down to 2 days from 3 in previous years. Other collaborations were working with London Farm to engage artists for their Family Farm Day, the Chamber of Commerce, where we provided a local performer in exchange for an annual membership, and connected a local business with several artists to showcase their work. We again partnered with the City of Richmond to produce the Richmond Arts Awards. We look forward to this year's Arts Awards in May, and also discussions with the city to redefine and clarify the awards program. In 2024, we produced Let's Celebrate Together Part 5, showcasing local artists and performers. In collaboration with the Richmond Media Lab and with funding from Metro Vancouver and the BC Arts Council, these can be found on our YouTube channel. None of these activities would take place without the generous support from the City of Richmond Operating Grant, as well as BC Community Gaming, Canadian Heritage, Richmond Community Foundation, and YVR Cares Community Investment Grant. We're looking forward to more activities in 2025. In addition to the annual events, it is Art Rich year, so in December we'll produce the exhibit of local artists in conjunction with the Richmond Art Gallery. And we are starting to produce bi-monthly artist showcases, which will be featured on our media channel. We also look forward to the completion of the art strategy update, and most particularly the arts facility needs assessment and its next steps. And thank you. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Wow, thank you for the presentation. You have a very successful year. So any questions? Bill?
Yeah, first of all, thanks very much. Great job, very good presentation. The first thing I would ask through the chair to the delegation is, would you be permitted to show this to council? I think they should go to the next city council meeting so that 300 and 250 people or 1,000 people can see it. I think it'd be very worthwhile, well succinct, and on it. And so from that, I think, Mr. Chair, if we could, and I'll move a motion that it be done if we need it, but I think probably take it under advisement. Mr. Clerk, is that okay? All right, so next meeting. That's the first thing from my point of view. First, because I think in 10 minutes you can leave the fonts up there a little bit longer for people to have a look at. I'm very glad to see you had one of my favorite artists and painters up there, Ms. Moore. She comes from the right country. Just want you to know. I think she's wonderful. No, I guess my question is more in terms of your funding. Again, grants are coming, and I'm not sure staff can tell us when are we going to have that, and how we're going to adjudicate that, and when we'll see that. But I think it's important that we continue to fund the organization and all the work that we do it, and do everything we can to promote the arts. We brag about our murals, we brag about this, we brag about that, and every aspect of that. And they cover everything in all aspects of the arts. So I want to just say thank you very much. Congratulations. You have my undivided support.
Laura?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, through the chair, thanks for the presentation. It was wonderful to see, echoing the comments of Councillor McNulty. I wanted to go back to the funding that you mentioned for the Richmond Maritime Festival. I kind of missed, what was the organization, what is the grant that you've been receiving that's been declining every year? That's not from the city of Richmond, that was from somewhere else.
That's from the Department of Canadian Heritage, the federal.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
So our staff is probably aware of that, and because I think that I've thought we consider the Maritime Festival our event, so I thought that we paid for the whole thing. So if the funding is going down every year from this Canadian Heritage grant, then would we need to do, has your application for the city grant towards the event been, have you explained that your funding's gone down and that you need more?
So I think staff could maybe respond, but the council, have allocated funding for all of the major events in Richmond, and Maritime Festival is one of them. So the city is the largest contributor to Maritime Festival.
Yeah.
The Canadian Heritage Grant through Richmond Arts Coalition has funded the artists, performers, entertainers
Okay.
for the last 15 years. So last year we struggled because it was down quite considerably. And so, we're just, as I say, waiting to see what's going to happen this year, because it means we have to cut back on the performers.
And then is there any other avenues that we've been exploring as far as funding?
We have not been, but I don't know if the city has.
Okay.
Michael?
Thank you, through the chair. Delegate, two questions. One is, you'd mentioned this BNI, the Business Network International. It's the first I heard of it. What's your involvement with that?
I'll let Paul.
Paul.
Sure, I can speak to that, yes. Oh, that's okay.
There it is.
So,
There it is.
oh, there we are. There we go. Yeah, no, the Business Networking International is a group of people that get together and network between themselves. And we felt that we could join their association, even though we were a not-for-profit organization. And of course, they're more of a for-profit organization. And we were given the opportunity to do that. We wanted to increase our scope as far as the number of added individuals that we could get into our network through them, and possibly business support for some of our events as well, and our fundraising events, and also in our just going out and asking for not donations, but support for funding some of the projects that we put on.
So just to follow up, would that be like how you got Crayola involved, or was there a specific funder who came through that network to support?
sorry,
Was like the Crayola or one of the other funding partners
No,
sourced
not
from
yet.
that, or
We
not yet?
haven't come up with anybody just yet, but we just started this association with the BNI, and we hope that it will bear fruit sometime soon.
Perfect, thanks. And my last question, just recently, council made a decision on the Titania mural on the Stevenson Hotel, and I don't recall from your group if you had advocated for anything. Was there a discussion at all, or anything you could share about that decision on?
I'm sorry, for the,
The mural on the side of the Stevenson Hotel, the Titania, that we're gonna remove? No, okay.
we haven't done anything. I just go by it and know it needs either help or removal.
Okay, any further questions? So, yes, once again, thank you for the presentation, and I'm happy to see the growth and the success of your group. And the percentage, the increase of the percentage is really impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, 2025 Community Mural Programs Projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm here to present the report and happy to answer any questions.
So any questions? Nora?
Thank you through the chair. Thank you for this. It's always very exciting to see not just the upcoming projects, but then to see the list of completed ones. And I drove by a few today and saw them in real life, and they're just fabulous. My question was about the contribution that, I've got a couple questions, that McNeil contributed $5,000 towards their mural. So is this common, and is it that they wanted a larger mural than perhaps we normally would have funded? And also I noticed they were going to be including the students in a lot of it, so I'm wondering if that's why. And was it their PAC that raised the money for it, or was it the school itself?
Through the chair to Councillor Galanders, it was a larger site, a wall that they applied with. So the budget that we have is limited to that we could completely fund it through the city's budget. So they were able to fund it through the PAC budget. It's not coming from the school board. But the engagement, which is typically folded into all of the projects, is falls under the same under the budget, so it's not an extra expense.
Yeah, well, it's really nice to see, the PAC valuing the art, and that they could have the resources to get the mural that they want, the size that they want. So that's really great to see. My other question was about the Minoru Park practice tennis wall. So if this is a city facility, and so I'm just curious how it works as far as who would have applied. Like, is it a group that uses the tennis, or was it our park, like we applied ourselves?
Through the chair to Councillor Galanders, in this case, it was the Recreation Department that applied, but on behalf of the users of the park, which are tennis users, Minoru Center for Active Living users, and other users of the park.
It was the Recreation Department of the city that applied to get, to use some of our mural funding for a city facility.
This is correct, but the engagement will be done with the users
Yeah,
of the
the users.
facilities. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. I was sort of thinking about Steveston and the mural at the hotel, and just thinking somehow we could, a city itself could apply through the mural program for some funding to replace that mural down the road once we get that referral back. I don't know, just looking at how it works with the money. Thank you.
Andy?
Thanks, and through the chair. Well, first of all, thanks for the report and the update. I really can't think of anything that is 100% supported by people you talk to other than the mural program. It really is popular. And just the two, for instance, along South Dyke Road, the washrooms, I've heard nothing but compliments about those. So I was excited to see a couple more on the list that you're going to do. So the only question I have is just out of the 28 that we've done since 2018, because we brought up the Stevenson Hotel, which I know isn't part of the program, but are they all still kind of good to go?
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, yes, since 2018 we've done 28 murals. Unfortunately, one has been decommissioned for technical reasons, but all 27 are still alive and well.
No, that's
And
good to hear.
standard, yes.
Yeah, that's excellent. Okay, thank you.
Good. Bill?
Yeah, thanks very much. Great report, supporting 100%. I'm very pleased to see us start doing things like the tennis wall and the neighborhood park. And I don't think we need a group to bring them forward. I'm going to suggest you do the Steveston Pool wall. And the washrooms at the Steveston Pool are really by the police. It's used all the time. And I would definitely support monies to go there. The other thing is we have a number of community centers that have walls on them too. And I think it'd be absolutely fantastic to have a historical artist or a cultural artist or whatever it is, given all those. So those, I think we need to have a self-identified group of public places, downtown core, down, even a building down here, I think we own one down here in the Johnson Center. We're talking what we own up here at Capstan Way. You know, we got to start looking around to what we're doing other than waiting and supporting that. You'd think I was for murals in the city, but I'm not. I don't want to expose my hand yet until I have it. But I do. I'm going to expose my hand. The budget, and it's not a criticism, it's an observation. It's $35,000. In a city of this size, $35,000 isn't really even a dollar per head to do something like this. As a matter of fact, work it out and see how much we're contributing to people. So we should be looking at the source of funding. I know we're taking it from the developers and they contribute, but to me, the allocation thereof, and it should be aligned. We just had a super presentation on the arts. We've got to start putting monies into the arts on it in a little more vigorous way, because we're going at actually an astronomical rate, in my opinion, and we'll never catch up. So anyhow, anything that you can put forward on that, you know, I look at, like I said, I look at the washrooms on the 7 Road Pier. I mean, my goodness, you know, do the 6 or not the 5 Road, 3 Road Pier, do whatever. I mean, we've got all kinds of opportunities, and we're not talking major dollars. I mean, in the total aspect, we're talking maybe $10,000 when I see here, et cetera, or to add to it, et cetera. So anyhow, you have my support, and I'm happy about it. I've identified a few things, and I hope we can get on with it. So thank you.
Carol?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the report. So I think Councillor Hobbs partially answered my question. What is, in general, the longevity of the paint?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, in the public art, in the community public art program, as when a community group applies, they are asked to keep the mural for at least 5 years.
Okay.
But generally, they last for longer.
Like, would you say like 10 years or?
It really depends on the type of wall, you know, if it's south-facing, the type of texture, how it was applied, but it, you know,
Yeah.
10, 15 in some cases as well.
Okay. Do the artists ever use wraps instead of paint?
Through the chair to Councillor, yes, they do. In fact, the current one that we just did in 2024, one of the washrooms was actually a wrap because it was better the site was better suited for a wrap rather than paint.
Yeah, because you can get UV coating on those wraps that makes them last a lot longer. Is that what's happened over at the Richmond Winter Club? Because I happen to go there every week, and I notice it's kind of peeling or lifting, and maybe it's the paint, maybe it's a wrap. What's happening there?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, I'm not familiar with the damage, so I will have to look. This is the curling club?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a
I'll
look.
tell you what, I'm going to be there Thursday. I'll take some pictures and send them to you. So I'm really excited that on page 17, you mentioned that the students from McNeil are going to be involved with the artists. And I think that's just a wonderful way to mentor the program, to get them engaged and involved. And the same on page 21, the Tate Elementary School, also students are going to be involved. And I think that's just, it's the way to go. It's how you create future artists. So, and of course, the page 20 is the tennis wall. Well, we couldn't have a sadder looking wall right now. So a mural will be a welcome addition to that area and certainly make it, a lot more beautiful. And I noticed a lot of the washrooms, the Tate washroom and a number of other washrooms are going to get painted. And Do you, like I noticed on page 28 that the trail washroom at Terra Nova looks like it desperately needs to be painted. So do we ever consider the cost savings of not having to paint that washroom, for example, when instead we're going to do a mural on it?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, I do believe there is a annual budget that it is used for upkeep of the washrooms, which is pretty much the same as painting it with the addition of the artist fees for a mural, so.
Okay, so as Councillor McNulty pointed out, I mean, if we were going to paint that washroom anyhow, why could we not allocate that paint to the art program? Just a thought.
That is, yes, that's.
That's exactly
Through
what
the
you
chair to
do?
the council, yes, that's where the funding for the washroom is coming from.
Okay.
From those city budgets.
Oh, I get that, but we have like the program, we have the budget for the murals, and now we have the budget for upkeeping our outbuildings. So if we're saving money on upkeep of the outbuildings by doing the mural, is that the same budget, or can we allocate some from one to the other? Sorry if I'm repeating myself.
Through the chair to Councillor Day, all of the murals have anti-graffiti coating applied to them, so it does make maintenance easier. And if there's any graffiti or any maintenance needed, it's city crews that does it from city budgets.
Okay, Martin.
Thank you so much.
Through the chair to Councillor Day. So all of our facilities do have a maintenance budget, and it has a paint budget as well.
Yeah.
So we contributed to the mural program that takes care of the paint, and we will keep on maintaining the building. It's part of the overall plan. That's why some of the facilities are funded by city facilities, because we already have in our budgets a budget for painting, and so that's why we contribute to this. It looks better, and it's the same cost.
So that's a good reason to come to council and ask for more money, because we're saving money. Thank you very much.
Very good. Further questions, discussions? Move. Seconded. Call a question. Those in favor, opposed, motion carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item. Number 3, Stevenson Historical Sites Building Committee revised term of reference.
Nothing
Ann?
further to add. Happy to answer any questions.
Laura.
Thank you, through the chair. Thanks for this. I understand what we're doing here. I just want to confirm. So we need to redo the terms of reference because we have now created the separate committee to oversee the building of the First Nations building. And that's the committee that Carol and Andy and Chuck are on. And so we're updating the terms of reference to not include that building. So I'm just wondering how it works. Does their committee also have a terms of reference? And I'm just worried about if we don't have a hierarchy of this building committee, at least keeping tabs of what that committee is doing or something so it doesn't get lost. I don't know how that works.
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Galanders, we are working with the councillors and the appointees from the community associations on terms of reference for that committee that we'll bring forward at the appropriate time. I agree. For now, I think it's very important that this committee be informed of the work of that committee, and I think vice versa, because I think everything is down at Britannia, and these projects are all kind of connected to the site. So the discussions that we've had so far is that this committee will be kept informed of what's happening with the First Nations Building Committee and that work. And then if there's opportunities for comment or questions. I think we also have our chair of the committee here, and he has also let members know that people are welcome to attend the committee for the discussion. So if members of the First Nations Building Committee wanted to attend for any of those discussions, I think it would be a conversation with the chair.
Thanks. Just a follow-up, because I almost thought that the terms of reference could be instead of having the First Nations Building in that terms of reference of this group, but have the First Nations Building Committee consulting with them as part of the terms of reference, but it's probably not necessary.
Okay. I can speak to that if you like, Mr. Chair. I think it's just, this provides a little bit of clarity on where we're taking things for discussion. I think all the information is open. It's not like there's any, any sort of closed discussions happening in any of these meetings. So we'll certainly endeavor to keep staff and the other committees informed. But I think it just makes it more clear for staff where we're taking things and who is providing advice to council on those various projects.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, just following up on that, they are two separate committees. I'll use Mr. Hobbs's committee and company have a specific task to deal with, and nobody's going to interfere with it. This committee actually was formed many, many years ago, and was to look after the whole Steveston waterfront. And just for your information, we've added one item, and that was Scotch Pond, which takes it down there to make sure, because it is a heritage site. And that was what the committee, and the terms of reference are really what the original committee was when it was set up. Harold Steves and I were doing it for many, many years. And that's all it is. So staff have honed in and separated both of them, and very well done. And I think that it avoids any overlap and any clarity, and we're going to work together to make sure we continue to save our heritage buildings. So.
Michael?
Thank you. Through the chair, my question is only in regards to that last point there on the Scotch Pond being included in the proposed terms of reference. I'm just curious, is that more in relation to keeping the Scotch Pond and the building there within the potential designation as Steveston Village as a National Historic Site? Or does that also factor in a potential new building like an estuarium that was in the decades-old concept for the Scotch Pond area? Or is there like maybe potential for both of those things, so that this committee will try and help us achieve the referral that's coming back in report in Q4 about that National Historic Site potential for the village? And is there like an estuarium connection to that as well, where that committee will be looking into where and how that fits into the region?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, my understanding, and again, the chair may have some additional comments on this, is that the intention of this would be related to any facility work happening at the building, so future restoration projects. We do also have the Scotch Pond Heritage Cooperative is still active down at the site, so they would also be involved in any discussions related to work on that facility. I think any future construction that would be impacting that facility in any way or adjacent to the facility, I would imagine council may wish to refer to this committee for consideration.
Great, thanks.
Carol?
Thank you very much to the chair. Am I correct in assuming that the number one changes are that there will be a council liaison and an updated code of conduct?
The key changes are on PRCS 31. So I think that really the key changes are updating the list of buildings that are included under the purview of this committee to accurately reflect current and anticipated upcoming projects. There's a change in the staff liaison. The two council liaisons have been appointed and remain unchanged. And then there is just, yes, the updated language around code of conduct to be consistent with what's done at other council-appointed committees.
Well, good job. It's a really thorough terms of reference. Thank you.
Okay, good. So,
Further recommendations?
move, second, call a question, those in favor, opposed, motion carry. Okay, move forward to, Councilor Day.
I handed out to staff. I just was wondering if we could get an update on the Bark Park. I went out there this weekend, and I'm really impressed with the bike path, and you guys gave all counselors some pictures of what I took. And I also see that the fence is fabulous. No dogs are going to be slipping through to get in the way of those bikes, and I think that's just exactly what we needed. A real big improvement from where we started. I'm a little curious what the towers are for.
Through the chair to Councillor Day, these are not towers. These were existing, actually, public artworks that were installed a number of years ago. So the proposal of the Bob Park improvement, including preserving these public art pieces in situ, basically, in the same location. So as you can see, currently there are some construction fencing, et cetera, that is going to work around that area to preserve and protect it from any machinery, et cetera. Eventually, we incorporate that into the overall environment.
So it's just the poles, that's it?
Yeah, that's right. These poles are, the groupings of them are part of the previous public
That's
artwork.
the art, okay. When do, I see that we've gone a little bit past the timeline. When do you expect the park to be fully operational and open?
Sure. We are still on target to open the park in spring. Right now, all the construction pieces continue on as scheduled, including the multi-use path, the fencing, the gates, et cetera. The one piece that we're waiting for is the review from the Inspector of Dikes from the province. Once the approval is provided, we'll be moving forward to a few other pieces that would be placed on top of the dike crest, including some gate and fencing components.
Oh, because it's part of the dike system, they have to approve it, getcha, okay. And did you add extra trees? I think some of these trees were already there, right, along the fence?
Through the Chair to Council Day, we have not so far added additional trees, really because from a sequencing standpoint, we want to make sure that all the hard surfaces, hardscape elements are in place first. Once that's done, we'll evaluate to see if there are any additional locations on site where we can put additional trees.
So those trees were already there?
That's correct.
They look so much better. Like it's like the fence frames them and really makes them jump out. All right, thank you.
Bill?
Yeah, no, I can echo those same comments. I'm happy to see what we've got there. I hope that we will also mitigate cycling and provide for, when we reduce the speed on Dyke Road to number 5 road, we mitigate and paint a 18-inch line from the curb so the cyclists can go around there as well, as opposed to through the park. So I hope that will be coming down the road. Just a quick question, and on those, that reminded me, how many, let's talk wildlife for a moment, how many eagles have we seen in that area?
Through the Chair to Councillor Menotti, in terms of acres, sizes of the park, right? I think the size of the park is approximately 3 acres.
No, how many eagles?
How many eagles?
Eagles have we seen? I'm not thinking wildlife, eagles and hawks down there.
Through the Chair to Councillor Menotti.
They have frequent. now
That's right.
and again. I'm wondering where they stay there, but there's nowhere for them to perch and
A
land.
few weeks ago, we've took a sidewalk and did spot one eagle nest, but that is off the boundary from the park. It's more towards the east end of it, close to Crown Packaging. We haven't seen any eagle on site when we were on site, but there's a nest right there.
Anyhow, I think it's something to take into consideration when we're doing, public art or whatever it is to think about the wildlife down there. Okay, thank you.
Andy?
Thank you, and through the chair, I just want to echo the comments that have already been made, and specifically just say thanks to staff, because there were so many multiple conversations with people, different issues, different agendas, different opinions, and council also spent a lot of time on it, but staff has had a few different iterations, and I think what Councillor Day has said is right on. It just looks fabulous right now, and it took a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I think everybody's going to appreciate it, so thanks.
Okay. So any further questions? Okay, good. So managers report. Okay, no managers report. Okay, good. So a motion to adjourn? Oh, okay.
Just real quick, one question I had was, some members of the public were interested in contributing to the proposed location for the covered shelter lacrosse box structure. And I remember, and I think it's the 5-year financial plan, it's listed as a 2026 expense. So many people are interested, is the city choosing the location this year? And if so, how can they be involved in advocating for one location over the other? Is there...
Elizabeth? Oh.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, yes, you're correct. The covered sports box has been included in the 2026 or identified in 2026 as part of the 5-year financial plan. Work will take place this year to be able to further refine that request, including a potential location, and bring that forward for council's consideration as part of the 2026 capital budget process.
Okay, so good.
Through the chair to council, if there are any suggestions, they are welcome to contact any one of us, but you can direct them towards Todd or myself. And we're happy to take those considerations.
Okay, so any further questions?
Yes. Yep. Where does this sit in relation to the referral on the Jack Crosby Center? Before we start covering lacrosse boxes, we better have that report back. Because that is a covered lacrosse box par excellence. So before we start running off and tell people we're gonna do it, we may build a Jack Crosby.
Through the chair to Councillor McNulty, we'll need to look into that and make sure about that, but I do believe that a memo was provided in December to respond to that referral. Certainly, we can look in on our end and make sure that was the case.
Send it out again and please read it, because that may be our panacea. Okay?
Okay, good. Any further questions to
good.
staff?
Yeah.
Seeing none, so we have a motion.
Adjournment.
Okay.
We are adjourned.
So meeting is adjourned. Now we have the closed meeting coming up.